Are you struggling to implement a blueprint in your Zoho CRM? Well, in this tutorial, I'm going to dive into what it is and how we can go about creating one to help give your business the competitive edge. Hey everyone, Casey here from Clientric. Today's tutorial, I want to dive into what a blueprint is and how we can go about creating one. Before we can actually create one though, we need to talk about what they are. Simply put, a blueprint is a way to take a manual process and standardize it for your team. This allows them to do what they do best, which is to sell and not think about how to actually use the CRM system that they're using. So they don't get bogged down with all these different fields and all these different tasks that they need to do. They know exactly what they need to do so they can focus on selling and making sure that the company is thriving. Other than that, it starts to get a bit complicated because it is quite a tool. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to explain briefly how we can go about creating one and what each of the components are when we're in the system. So now that we've logged in, we're at the home screen right now. We're going to go to the settings page. We are going to go to the blueprint, which is under the process management heading over here. We're going to select this. We're going to come to the blueprint stage. Now we've gone through and we have a couple of these already created. The lead nurturing process is one that's already created. These other two were tests by me, but in this case, we're going to go through and we're going to create a blueprint over here. This is just one I'm deactivating from a previous test because I don't want it to impact what we're doing over here. So we're going to create a new one and we're going to say new blueprint test. We're going to use the leads module. We're also going to use the standard layout and we're going to choose the blueprint example field. This means it's going to run on all leads regardless of where they're coming from. So as soon as we click it open or as soon as one comes in, we can see the blueprint in action. So we're going to click next. Now we get to the drag and drop functionality of the blueprint screen. And on the bottom left here, we have a couple options, and on the top right, we have a couple options over here as well. So down here on the bottom left, we have a publish, save as draft, and cancel. Publish means that we're going to push this live. So any leads going forward that you look at are going to have this blueprint in action. If we go to cancel, that means we're going to lose all of the work we just did, depending on where we saved it last. And lastly, we have the save as draft. This really just allows you to save a copy of it. It's not live and you're not going to lose it. So therefore you can continue to work on it and fine tune it. So now if we look in the top right, we have a few different options here. We see the available states. This is what is available to us in the drop-down field that we've chosen. So we see none, attempted contact 1, attempted contact 2, 3, qualified, junk, and contacted. As you can probably guess, this is the lead status. So when we work this, we want to throw first the none in there because we want this to be associated with all leads. So we're going to throw this down here into this spot. We're now going to click attempted contact 1. So this is the first option that our users are going to be able to see in the blueprint. We also want our team to be able to easily select qualified, junk, and contacted. They are going to be accessible at any point in time. So if we're going to throw these down, we are going to have them all available over here. And we're going to drag and drop all of these to their own arrows. So we're going to have all these connected to the none. So when we first come to a lead, we're going to see the options of attempted contact 1 as a button, contacted, junk, and qualified as a button. Now we also want to have attempted contact 2 down below. So this has to come after attempted contact 1. We don't want to select attempted contact 2 before we've attempted it. So we want to have these in sequential order. So now as you can see, we have these 3 in action over here, and then we have these as other options. So now that we have this, we can actually talk about these plus signs here. So we can create the transitions. So this is the shorthand, this is the transition name. So this is what's going to show up on the button. So I'm going to say AC1. This is going to be my transition name. Now we also see a few more options. So this before option down here just means that anyone matching this criteria, the record owner, anyone within the company can see this button. So this is a beforehand. Now during is what happens as you click the button. So when you click the button, prior to the transition actually completing, there's a few actions that can be run. We can make notes mandatory, make attachments mandatory, make tags mandatory. We can add in a few more other things over here. This allows you to, let's say, if you are contacting someone, you get a hold of them, you have a phone conversation, you say attempted contact, or at this point, let's say you've contacted them, you then also have to record a note to say that, yes, I've talked to this person, this is what happened, this is when it happened. you can make sure that your team follows the proper procedures without having to enforce it in some other way. They just have to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It just needs to happen. So that's another way you can do it, is the during phase. And there's also the after phase. So this is basically as soon as this transition is completed, we can set all these different notifications, tasks, updates, webhooks, custom actions, tags. We can allow those to run fully. Now that we have this set up, let's do the same thing for these other two. So we're going to say AC2 and AC3. In this case, we're not actually going to be utilizing any during or after functions, but I can show you what it looks like. Actually, you know what? Let's make this note as mandatory after AC1, just so you can see what it looks like. So we can add in a few other items here, but we're just going to leave that blank. We're also going to create these as common transitions, which means that these options can be chosen at any time. So whether it's attempted contact 1, 2, or 3, these options will always be available. So we're going to call this contacted. That way it stays the same. This one is going to be junk. And then the last one is going to be qualified because we want to track each of these things. So we're going to save that and we're pretty much done. There's not much else we need to do. So I'm going to click publish because right now we want to publish it. We want to go to one of our leads. We want to create a new lead and we're going to see what it looks like. So if we click publish, it's going to take us back here. This one is now green, which means that it's live. So if we go to the lead section, we're now going to create a new lead, just something very simple, and we're going to take a look and see what it says. So we just need a last name over here, new test blueprint. This is all we need, so we're just going to save it. As you can see, we have AC1, contacted, junk, and qualified. So if I were to choose AC1, this mandatory note is going to populate and make sure that we have to fill that in. So we're going to say filled in notes, and we're just going to click save. And now AC2 will pop up, then AC3 and AC4. As you notice, the transitions of the other items didn't actually work. And that's because I forgot to click that they needed to be common transitions. So let's quickly go back and make that change now, just so you can see what it looks like. If we come back here, we can click on the contacted, and we just need to check this box off. So we want that to be a common transition so that all states have access to it. We also want to click junk, and we also want to do qualified as common transitions as well. So we're going to republish so that we can send this back and make it live. Now, there is an error that it found in here. There are one or more loops found in your blueprint. When stuck in a loop, record remains inside blueprint and no possible exit through transitions. Depending on what you did, this may or may not be what you're looking for. In this case, we will probably always be in there during something. So you have to go about and craft it in a way that makes sense for your business. In this case, we're just going to save anyway. And then we are going to go back to our leads and we're going to create another test lead and then come back here. So if we click AC1, we're now going to see the options for AC2, contacted, junk, and qualified. Again, we're going to have to go through this, another test, save that. And now you can see we have AC2, contacted, junk, and qualified. So if I were to click junk, it then takes it to junk. We then have the option to click contacted or qualified. Let's click contacted. And then at the end, we also have junk or qualified. And so we'll be going back and forth because there is no end state. We cannot get out of this. So that's what that error was actually meaning. So if we wanted to go back, we could fix that so that it does end and it doesn't stay within this. And that's the big thing, is you just want to set it up properly. You want to take a manual process and you want to map it out to a blueprint. So take a piece of paper, take your manual processes that you need to follow, write down what you want that transition to be, and then you can go about creating the blueprint from there. So we hope this video has been helpful. So as always, feel free to subscribe below, like and comment on our videos, join us on our other social channels like Instagram and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.